Alrighty, we've got a few more people here now, so we'll just get started for today. Um, if there's a couple people who join late, that's okay too. We'll have this recorded up on our YouTube in a couple days. But for now, let's just get started here. Go here. Perfect. All right, so welcome everyone. This is our last webinar for the Desk Stretches for Low Back Pain series. We do have a new webinar series, 4-week webinar series starting up next week. It'll be next Friday, but we're just going to touch on that towards the end. Alrighty, so we'll get into it. So what today is going to be is we're just going to be covering basically everything that we talked about in previous ones that is specific to low back pain. And this one is just going to be kind of one super webinar where we're going to delve deep into it. And we're going to talk a little bit more about ways to modify certain stretches and exercises and how to make them a little easier, a little more difficult, depending on where you're at with your low back pain and if it's just avoidance or if it's just trying to remedy it. So an important thing to remember is BLT. The biggest risks for back pain are bending, lifting, twisting, and any combination of those three movements. That's when you're in the most danger for hurting your back further or just hurting it initially. So when you're doing anything that involves a lot of these motions, like gardening, for example, you just want to be wary of them and make sure that you're doing them with proper lifting technique and everything. So for today's routine, we're going to be covering 3 sets of stretches and 3 different exercises. And for the stretches, it's a little difficult. You can't really make them a little easier, a little more difficult. But for the exercises, we will be covering ways to modify them for your specific intensity that you will need. Alrighty, so a couple last minute reminders that we're just going to touch on right before we get fully into things. So we're going to perform these exercises for about 12 to 15 reps. And we're going to do these reps in 3 sets. So we're going to be doing the individual motion about 12 to 15 times, and then we're going to be doing these chunks of 12 to 15 3 separate times. For the timed exercises, which I believe there's only one of today, you want to hold them for about 15 to 30 seconds. If you can hold it longer, great. If you can't hold it that long, that's fine too. Everyone's got to start somewhere. And again, we'll touch on how to make these maybe a little more difficult, a little easier later on as well. And then these are all great because you can change the time and intensity that you are performing these for. So it's really easy to individualize these for your specific needs. So without further ado, we're just gonna get right into it. If you guys have any questions throughout this, feel free to, there's a Q&A function at the bottom. There's also a chat function. Send any of those, and at the end, I'll be double checking just to make sure I can answer any questions, help you guys out in any way I can. But for now, we're just gonna get right into it. So I just got to adjust this, make sure you guys can see me okay. Bring my handy dandy notes over. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to start with, I'll actually bump this up because I'm going to be standing for this, is our back range of motion. So we've gone over this a couple times now, but this one, it's the most basic thing you can do. It's, in my opinion, one of the most effective ways to help with low back pain. And it's our back range of motion. So you want to stand about feet shoulder width apart, just so you have good balance. And then we're going to lean to one side, and you'll feel a bit of a pull on the side that you're leaning away from. And we're going to hold that for, again, 15 to 30 seconds. So we'll just hold 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We'll go this way. And you don't want to be like pushing and forcing yourself. You just want to go until you feel a light enough stretch. And then we're going to go this way. And then we're going to hold it for 15 seconds. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Alrighty. So we've done our two sides. Now we're gonna lean forward and attempt to touch our toes. If you can't touch your toes, that's no big deal. I can't either. It just means that we gotta do a little more stretching. So we're gonna lean forward as best as you can, get as slow as you can. You'll feel the stretch in the back of your legs on your hamstrings, and you might feel it a little bit in your back. So we're gonna try and touch the toes for 15 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alrighty, so we have gone through the 4 directions now, or wait, we have one more, sorry, my mistake. I'm getting ahead of myself. And that is just we're gonna lean back and look upwards, and that's gonna stretch our spinal erectors here. So we're gonna go, and we're gonna hold it for 15 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. And then we got 2 more, and then we'll be through our back range of motion. So again, feet shoulder width apart. I like to hold my hands like this just because it's what I've been practicing doing. It doesn't really matter what you do with your hands, but you're just gonna go. And you're gonna turn to one side until you can't turn any further and you feel that stretch in your lower back, and you're gonna hold it for 15. So go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we'll turn the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's our back range of motion. It's important to remember with these stretches, when you get to the point of tension, you don't want to bounce on that point of tension because that's how we injure ourselves. You just want to ease into the tension, meet it, hold it for 15 seconds, and then you want to just ease back out a bit. Alrighty, so for our next one, we're going to be doing the cat-cow stretch or cat-camel stretch. There's a dozen different names for it. But this one is also a bit of a breathing exercise. So I'm just going to angle it down here so you guys can get a good view. So what you're going to do, if you have difficulty getting down on all fours or lying down on the ground, I just avoid these next couple ones, but do the back range of motion because it's, again, it's simple, it's effective. There's nothing wrong with just doing that. These are just a little extra just to help you out if you're able. So with the cat-cow, you're gonna get on all fours. And then so what we're gonna do, because this is a stretch, we're just gonna perform it about, this one's kind of a stretch / exercise, so we're gonna do it about 10 times because it involves a lot of breathing and just like slowly stretching out the spine. So we're gonna go here, and you're gonna breathe in, and arch your back up, and then you're gonna breathe out, and arch your back down. And you're gonna kind of alternate between the two, and you're gonna hold them when your back is up, and then when your back is down. So we've done one, we're gonna go 2, in, out, 3, in, out, 4, in, out for 5, in, out for 6, in, out for 7, in, out for 8, in, out for 9, in, out for 10, in, out for 11, in, out for 12. So sorry, I misspoke before. We're going to do it for about 12 to 15, but this one you're not really going to feel resistance like you would with the exercises. It's just more about getting your back moving through that motion. Alrighty, so for our next one, this one you're going to have to lie down for. So luckily I've got my 2 handy benches here. So what you want to do is you're going to lie down on your back. You're going to have your legs straight out, and then you're going to take one knee, and you're going to grab it, and you're going to pull it up until you feel a bit of a pull, just probably in your glutes, maybe a bit in your low back. And then you're just going to hold this for 15 to 30 seconds. And then you just really want to feel it. If you feel a point of tightness, you don't want to push past it. You just want to, again, meet the resistance and then have it, and then just slowly leave it. So met the resistance. Been probably holding for about 15 now. So I'm going to slowly let down. Bring up the other leg, and it's the exact same thing. You're going to almost hug it into your chest as much as you can. Hold the knee maybe a little bit below the knee, and you're just going to pull upwards, and you'll feel that good stretch. And then you're going to just hold for 15 to 30 seconds. And then once you met that time, you go back. And again, normally you would do these about 3 times each leg, but because we're just covering a couple extra things today, we're just going to go through each one once, but you would normally do 3 sets. So for our next one, we are going to start getting into the exercises. So for this first exercise, we're going to do some modified crunches. These ones are great. I know the chiropractors in our office suggest these all the time when I'm in the office shadowing them. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back on your back. A good trick is to put your hands just in your lower back. And then these are modified crunches. So instead of curling up like you normally would, you want to bring your face almost directly up towards the ceiling. And you're not going to go all the way sitting up. You're just going to go like this, partly up. Hold 1, 2, and then down. And we're going to do that about 12 to 15 times. And then after, I'm going to talk about how to make it a little more difficult if you prefer. And it's also important that your knees are up like this, just so that you don't put too much strain on anything. So here we go. We're going to go 1, and down, 2, down, 3, down, 4, down, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So again, it's important to remember you don't want to tuck your chin in like this because that makes it harder to breathe, and you're also not going to be working the low back muscles. You'll be working more the abdominals, which this does work the abdominals, but you just don't want to strain anything too much with doing a crunch. So we're just going to do these modified crunches. If you do want to make it a little more difficult, you can roll up something like a sweater, put it in the place of your hands, and then with your hands, you can hold something like a weight or a soup can just on your chest. And that'll add that little bit of extra resistance, or you can always just do more repetitions. But you don't want to tire yourself out, because if you tire yourself out and keep going, that's how we injure ourselves. That's how we injure ourselves further. So it's just best to avoid that by just knowing your limit and not pushing yourself too much. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go right on to our second last exercise. So this one is called the bird dog. We've talked about this one before. So this one, again, you're going to be on all fours. I'm going to demonstrate how you would normally do it. And then afterwards, I'll talk about there's an easier and a more difficult way to do this one as well. So you're going to start, you're going to go on all fours. And then you're going to lift up your left arm and your right leg. And you want your back, you basically want your whole body to be as straight as possible. You're going to hold for 2 and come back. And you'll switch. Hold for 2. Come back. And then we're going to do each side 12 times. So we've just done 1. We'll go 1 or 2. 3. 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's important to remember when you're putting your arm out, you don't want to aim up like this or down like this. You want to be as flat as possible. To make it a little easier, we suggest that you just start one arm, one leg, and just start out with one limb each, and then you're just going to slowly add an extra limb to it when you feel comfortable enough. If you're comfortable with the regular version, which I just demonstrated, and you want to make it just a little more challenging, what you can do is you can put your arm and your leg out, and then you're just going to kind of draw a square with each one. And you go down, up, and draw a square with the other one as well. And then you bring it back down. And that just adds that extra bit of challenge because you're holding it for a second and it involves more muscle control and fine muscle movement. So that's the bird dog. Again, if you guys do have any questions or comments or anything, there is the Q&A function, there is the chat function, so please send some questions. I'll take a look at them at the end, and I'm happy to help out in any way I can. And then so now we are on to our final exercise, which is the side plank. So with this one, what you're going to want to do, again, it's one of those ones where you have to get down on the ground on your side. So if that's too difficult, remember, back range of motion. That's the baseline, best you can do in my opinion. These are just, all these on top are just a little extra. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your legs out to the side, arms straight down, and you're just going to lift up, and you're going to hold for about 15 seconds. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you'll go. And then you switch sides. And then you lift up and hold for another 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And in order to make this one a little more difficult, there's a number of ways to do it. You can hold it for longer. You can keep trying to hold as long as you want. Basically, you want to hold until you start to wobble. If you start to wobble, that's when you want to stop, because that means that our muscles are fatigued, and that's where we're going to injure ourselves. So as soon as you start to feel yourself wobbling, you just want to stop, take a breather, and then maybe you can go back to it after a couple minutes. Up to you, but just really, it's important to not push yourself. And then if you want to add even more difficulty than holding it longer, you can eventually work your way up to, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this from here, but having your legs straight out and lifting yourself like this. And that just adds a whole nother level of difficulty. But if you're finding the 15 seconds just a little too much for you, that's fine. Just do what you're comfortable with, and you just can work your way up and just slowly increase the difficulty over time. Alrighty, so just got about one more slide to cover, and then we are all finished for today. Here we are. Okay, so again, you want to perform these exercises about 12 to 15 times if they're ones that involve repetitions, and you want to do these 12 to 15 in 3 sets. For the timed exercises, like the side plank, which we just demonstrated, to start, shoot for 15, and then just slowly work your way up time-wise. And then there's the other ways to increase the difficulty as well, like adding the feet into the side plank over time. That's a good way to just step it up even further. But the best way to just keep track of your progress is just do it the same way with the knees and just add time increments more and more. And then, yeah, just do it all to your personal preference. There's no need to show off or anything. It's just about getting rid of back pain. So we're on to our final slide here. So remember, there is no magic cure for back pain. There's no overnight success. It takes 3 things: stretching, exercise, and a lot of patience, because it's not, like I said, it's not going to be fixed overnight. But with stretching and exercise, it can be really improved and you'll feel significantly less pain, though it won't be immediate. If you missed any of our other webinars, they will be up on YouTube, or they are up on YouTube. This one will be up on YouTube shortly. I think within a couple days, we normally get them up. As for next week, our next week's webinar is going to be on major joint rehab. So what this means is we're going to be talking each week about a different joint. So one week could be the shoulder, one week could be the hip, one week could be the elbow, so on and so forth. And we're just going to start off, maybe touch on the anatomy of it a little bit, talk about all the relevant muscles and movements, and then we'll get right into, here's some stretches for that specific joint. Here's some exercises for the muscles that work and articulate that specific joint. And we're just, if you're feeling particular pain in any specific muscle, you can just tune in for that week, or you can tune in for all the weeks. And again, those will be uploaded to our YouTube once they've been done too. But that's next week. You sign up for it the same way that you signed up for this one, with the link in our link tree on the Instagram bio. Yeah, so if there's any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'll be sticking around for a couple more minutes. And thanks everybody for tuning in. This is my first 4-week webinar, and I really enjoyed it. I really got comfortable with it, so I hope you guys were able to enjoy it and maybe learn something as well. Oh, I see we got one chat here. No problem, Sylvia. Thanks for tuning in. I hope it helped with your back pain. Oh yeah, no problem. I hope, I'm just glad everyone was able to tune in and I was able to help a little bit. Alrighty, I'll just wait for one more minute here in case anybody's typing out like a lengthy paragraph question, but otherwise, yeah, thanks everybody. Yeah, thanks everybody. It looks like I'm not really seeing anything, so I think we're good to end it here. So I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week. I believe next week we'll be talking about the shoulder first. So yeah, tune in. Thanks.